distinguished ladies and gentlemen, honorable members of parliament, dignitaries here present. My name is Prof Frimpong Boateng. These are my slides. A young lady, Shari Maxson in Australia, said that we live in a time when intelligent people are being silenced so that stupid people won't be offended. Next slide. Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to do that. So, at some point, I chaired the Inter-Ministerial Committee for Illegal Mining, and I think my friend and big brother, is that Cameron? Cameron Dodu, well, welcome. We defined what illegal mining was. Mining in riverbeds, that is dredging, mining on the river banks, mining in forest reserves, land degradation, non-reclamation of land, foreigners involved in small-scale mining, and use of dangerous chemicals such as cyanide, and improper use of approved chemicals. This is how we define illegal mining, whether committed by small-scale or large-scale. So you know this slide, so I mean, you'll be seeing more of these things, so I'll not talk much about it, no comment. Where should I point this thing? Here? Please, where should I point it to? Where? Anywhere. But these things, these are the dredging machines on the water bodies. But these are things that we may not see in the documentary. These are men from our task force cleaning the water bodies. So there were debris, tree trunks, everything in the rivers. We tried to clean it up. And so this is where we are. You know, as I said, it also to show us more of these things. I'll just rush through. And some of the bad things happening, you know, we undermine power lines and undermine the roads that we build as well. It's not only the forest, but our very important infrastructure is undermined and destroyed. And this was presented by my Joy online. Joy, you did this in 2017. This is somebody on his cocoa farm, his own cocoa farm. It's called Kwesi Nyako, and he lives in Wasam Memphis district. And this is Kwesi and the children and the wife on the cocoa farm. They say they're not getting much from the cocoa farm, so they are doing their own mining on their farm. This thing has been going on for a very long time. These slides I borrowed from Professor Osman Ansah-Samoa, who passed away many years ago. This is from 2014. You know, alluvial mining in Apia and Kwanta and Dabuase, Tufupraso and Dunkanofin, 2014. These pictures are from 2014. And this is degraded land at Kubriso in River Pra, Tupufraso, and the water was not flowing at all, 2014. And this is Brim River. This is from 2018. And you see, the Brim River has changed its course. The course has been diverted several times. So the Brim River, as you know it, is no longer a Brim River. I wanted to go through this quickly. And this is somebody, Chinese, who has settled in Wasa, Akropon, enjoying his breakfast and doing his illegal mining. Yes. Now, this slide shows the river basins in Ghana. And you can see that most of the river basins are affected. The white water basin, which also takes in the red water. There's galamsey going on, not as much as here in the southwest. And then the black water, Pra, and Cobra, and so on, all these rivers, apart from the main water lake and the Afram rivers. But even the water lake, one can say that there is some disturbances going on because of the fact that the white water is the main source feeding the water lake. So if you look at the water basins in this country, most of them have been affected. So the rivers, you can't paddle any canoe on them. Speedboats are useless. And we heard that the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources imported speedboats who are seen on the water bodies before. They cannot function on those water bodies because the water is not good for anything. You can't drink it, you can't wash with it, you can't cook with it, no bathing. Irrigation and watering of gardens, not possible. Watering of animals, impossible. Other creatures poisoned or dead, and the animals are poisoned or dead, and tree crops are also polluted. So what is the use of our rivers? Ghana is the only country where you have rivers, but they are no use. So we also have loss of biodiversity. There's physical danger, apart from the physical danger to humans and animals. Maybe you fall in pits and get drowned. We have polluted land farmlands, loss of edibles such as mushrooms, snails, wild yams, plantain, and bananas. Then loss of habitat of many animals and reptiles. Bears, especially bears that nest on high trees, like vultures and eagles, especially vultures. Now, how many of you have seen vultures in your area recently? When was the last time you saw a vulture? And you see, when you see the vultures dying, it's only a question of time that human beings also start dying. Because these are the scavengers. They pick up dead things so that we don't get sick. But now they've lost their habitat and their food sources, so they are dying. Even the snakes in the bush, there is a snake in South America called Prof jararaca. That is a viper. When it bites you, you die from shock. Your blood pressure will drop and will die. Scientists worked on that venom, and through that, they were able to produce a medication against high blood pressure. That was the basis of lisinopril. As you know, some of you may be taking lisinopril. So even the reptiles in the bush are useful, if you only want to know how to make them useful. So, and then ground nesting bears that nest on the ground. I mean, they have no future. They are gone. Akokohiria and all those things. This is what we are doing to ourselves. So, but the immediate effect is that I've seen somebody who comes from Mansour Saman, who is here with me, I just saw him. If you go there, there's little or no farming activities because farming is not profitable. You don't do it. Farmland is sold to galamsey operators. Cocoa farms sell for between 30,000 and 50,000 cedis per acre, and they are selling them. Arable lands are already mined out. Scarcity of plantain, cassava, and cocoyam. Cultivation of vegetables not advisable, and I'll tell you why later on. Tomatoes, pepper, onion are all purchased in Kumasi. Maize is cheaper in Kumasi. This is happening now. So when we destroy our forests and our farmlands, what happens? These plants take in the carbon dioxide that we breathe out and give us oxygen that we breathe in. So they are more or less our lungs. So if we are destroying the forests and farmlands, we are destroying our lungs. And then our food, all our food, 90% will come from the forest or the farmlands. So we'll be destroying our supermarket. And 25% of the drugs that we use in the hospital now are from herbs. Apart from that, there are herbal preparations. So these plants are our pharmacies as well. So as we destroy the greens that we see, we'll be destroying our lungs, we'll be destroying our supermarkets and our pharmacies. Well, and there are toxic metals. I'll not go through them, but the important ones are mercury, lead, and cadmium. We all know the side effects of mercury inhalation and cadmium poisoning and so on. So I'll skip this one for the time being. So when you see hyperpigmentation caused by arsenic exposure, this is how it is. And it's very prevalent in the western region, where in Takwa, for example, as far as back as 2014, 38% of all the surface water was polluted, and about 30% of groundwater was also polluted. That was 2014. And this is black foot disease caused by arsenic poison. I have to rush. Yeah, so these are examinations that CSIR did in the Lower Prague Basin in 2014. At that time, the levels of mercury were very high. The safe levels are 0.002 milligram per liter. But if you look at certain areas in the Prague Basin, it exceeded the safe limits. So also lead. But cadmium was just normal. That was 2014. We need to do some more studies to know the level now. So I said that it would be very dangerous to eat vegetables, especially salads, greens, from mining areas because of the pollution. And that is why we do what we call phytoremediation. And I think the Ministry of Agriculture should think about these things. We need to plant certain things that to absorb or take out the poison, the metals in the body. So we know that if you plant sunflower, it will absorb magnesium and chromium. Broccoli, cabbage and broccoli will take care of lead, zinc, and cadmium. So also water lettuce, which will absorb cadmium, mercury, chromium, and copper. And then water hyacinth will take care of the rest. So it will be unwise for anybody living in the mining areas to plant things. You will poison yourself. And so we think that Ministry of Agriculture should look at these things as we fight illegal mining to go into areas where we can gradually absorb. You have to plant this in cycles, maybe 10, 20 cycles, so that the level of poisons will come down. Meanwhile, Chinese people are helping us destroy our farmlands, but they are growing cocoa. Seriously. This is cocoa from China, and it's grown on Hainan Island. I'll tell you some more. You see, you all read it. October 15, 2020, China exported a batch of 500 kilograms of cocoa beans worth 3,000 euro, about $3,600 to Belgium. 500 kilograms. The cocoa was produced by this company on the Hainan Island, which is in the South China Sea, which are the same climate as Ghana, almost. Now, compare what the Chinese sold to what we got from our cocoa, which was 2,600 per 1,000 grams, 1,000 kilograms. So theirs was more expensive than ours. Now, keep those figures in mind. It was in 1885 that Ghana exported its first cocoa, 500 kilograms, or 10 bags. Then in 1911, not too long after that, Ghana became the #1 producer when we produced only 41,000 tons of cocoa. And we remained #1 until 1987 when Brazil took over, and then we again, and then went over to Ivory Coast in 1978. Since then, we are lost. So remember, the Chinese exported 500 kilograms recently, and we did the same thing in 1885, and a few years later, we became the #1 producer with 41,000 tons. Now, right now, cocoa production is being devastated. It's going down, especially in the western region, western north, through the CSSVD, that is the cocoa showing shoot virus disease. Over aged moribund trees, loss of farmlands to galamsey, soil and water pollution are causing cocoa production to go down. This thing is... So, on the 3rd of April, 2020, the Minister of Food and Agriculture said that because of the scourge of swollen shoe disease, Ghana will achieve about 700,000 tons of production that year, which was below the targeted 1 million tons for that year. So we have realized that the cocoa production is going down. And then again, on the 13th of August 2020, Graphic Online reported that within the last decade, cocoa production in Western North region has dropped from 340,000 tons to 140,000 tons, a development attributed mainly to swollen shoe disease. So our production is going down. So now this is Hainan Island. That is a red dot beneath China. Area of 33,000 square kilometers. That's about 14% the size of Ghana. Population 8 million. Climate mostly tropical. Between temperature 25, 29. And that is the site of where they land their satellites. The crops that are producing now are cocoa, oil palm, pepper, lemongrass, cashew, sugarcane, and cocoa. Meanwhile, they are producing cassava, plenty of it. And they have the machinery to process the cassava. China is... I need help. Who can help me? Please, can you do it from your end? So when I raise my hand, you change it. Yes, so I'll be finished very soon. This is Gary produced from China. And when they are advertising it, do you know what they say? Produced from unpolluted land. That's how they sell their Gary in Europe. China is a major producer of Gary. And these are other things that they produce. Pawpaw, pineapple, avocado, coconut, watermelon, and all the things that you see around are produced in Hainan. Now, I'm going to ask a question. What is a narco state? A narco state is a country whose economy is dependent on the trade in illegal drugs. A narco state, as we find in some countries, somewhere in America, a country whose economy is dependent upon the trade in illegal gold mining. Next slide. So Galamsey State is a country in the grip of illegal gold mining whose economy appears to be dependent on illegal gold trade. Can we say that? Can we define Galamsey State as being that? A country in the grip of illegal gold mining whose economy appears to be dependent on illegal gold trade. Next slide. Is Ghana a Galamsey State? So, I'm come to an end. So, for those who want to destroy the earth, Ghana, this is what the book of the Bible says in Revelation chapter 11 and verse 18. It says, the nations were angry, and your wrath has come. The time has come for judging the dead and for rewarding your servants, the prophets, and your people who revere you, your name, both great and small, and for destroying those who destroy the earth. If we believe in God and we do a lot of things for him, build churches and do other things for him, and this is what I'm saying. This is what the Bible is saying. Next slide. I thank you for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Gov't Frimpong Boateng with that presentation.